advantage is played. Salvador's pass too long for Shaw. Oh, those big mitts have somehow got hold of the ball, and Niccolo will get the goal. Well done, Shaw. Well, there were 3 Springvale players around big Jamie Shaw, but somehow he kept possession, and it's acknowledged by the goal kicker, Niccolo.
Probably an aspect of Shaw's game that people often underestimate. He's got very big hands, and he's able to handball the ball very efficiently. And we'll see it here in the screen now. Look at the handball on the left hand under a bit of pressure, and look to Niccolo on the run. That is the absolutely perfect handball, and a great goal, Sam.
Atkins put Maloney under a bit of pressure, but it was about all he could do. Off the ground from Lawson. Now Elliott. Another fine lead from Robinson. Still, he's a long way out from goal. Directly in front this time. Grant Salvador. Up again as the pass finds Phillips. Robinson goes past. He's about 10 metres closer to goal, and it's made all the difference. Well worked move there. And Keith Robinson gets his first goal.
And both full forwards featuring prominently in their respective sides' first goal. Keith Robinson, as you mentioned, we've seen him on 2 occasions lead well up the field. Very intelligently short pass, and ran on and accepted the hand pass from 45 metres. And that's a tremendous goal.
And that all happened too, Sam, while Salvador was on the deck hurt, and it was Elliott, his man, who was able to run on and set up the play. So a bit unfortunate for Preston.
Good work, Dunbar to Jordan. Shaw on the lead. Good pressure, Dempster. Seno, he's a left footer, getting space. Turns and shoots, dribbling towards goal and making it. Quick reply from the Volants through Dean Seno.
Well, that was through sheer pace. Seno managed that goal. And that is one of Preston's strengths. He's one of the small brigade that they rely upon, Dino Seno.
And gee, they're playing well, the smaller players too. And the thing that has impressed me, Sam, their tackling and their pressure. They're really winning the ball back, and that's a good sign.
Quite a handy bounce too. A bit of a leg break there.
Bit of a Neil Jordan turn on it.
Hallis puts the pressure on, almost gets pulled down too. Hall gets back to tackle Kuipert. Mayland and Maloney, those two always work well together. Nice bounce comes up to Mithun. That's better. Springvale back in front by 2 points. We've played nearly 10 minutes.
And it is a very skillful game too. You make a mistake and the side really pounces on it. Good handball here from Maloney. Mayland first up. Over to Mithun, and no mistakes here. And Peter, you asked about the finals before the game. You can see when the side's getting closer to the finals, the tempo certainly does lift, and it's an indication of what will come in a couple of weeks' time.
Mithun. He'll be puffing after a heavy piece of work in the last 30 seconds. Jeff's kick. Mayland. Kuipert. This is great running football from the Vales. Atkins, yes! Well, started by Bill Mithun at fullback, and it hasn't touched a Preston pair of hands all the way up to Graham Atkins. Former Collingwood, North Melbourne player should have no mistake here in stretching Springvale's lead. That it goes to 8 points.
Yes, and you mentioned it right, Peter. Superb passage of play from defence to a goal. And both sides throwing themselves in the fray with gay abandon. Mayland proving elusive. And he's got such great vision, Mayland. That's experience, steadying under pressure. Realising Kuipert's alongside him. And the long kick, and Atkins perfectly placed. The kick was superb. Just managed to outmanoeuvre his opponent. But the game is just a superb game. Fierce tackling, pace.
Saw that twice from Coburg last week, kicking the ball out without a teammate or an opponent touching it, Phil.
Tell me about it, Peter.
Along with those 50s, they didn't help, did they?
No.
Matt Burrows on the mark. Clark, booming kick. And Robinson, fine mark. Half thought about playing on, but better to steady himself.
That's the thing about Robinson. You often feel that he's just a leading player, but he can appear out of nowhere and pluck a very good mark. 2 goals to him in this first quarter, and as we all recognise, he's a very dangerous full forward.
Jordan not jumping but pushing. Mark on in the pocket. Morgan going in hard. Again Dunbar, quick hands to Seno on the wrong foot. Shaw a chance, over the shoulder. And from point blank range, no mistake from the full forward. His first for the afternoon.
Oh, he is very impressive today, Big Jamie. Look, he's put on a bit of weight over the last couple of years. This is good play from Dunbar out to Seno on his wrong foot, which is his right foot.
Centering the ball.
Yes, and the bounce, and Jamie says, well, I'll kick this one, boys. And he does.
It'll give him a lot of confidence, too, to have one under his belt, because he's had 2 or 3 relatively easy chances, and that will give him a lot of confidence.
Hey, it's a good game.
Oh, super game, Phil. Super game.
Number 80 for the season for Jamie Shaw.
Still going with it. Misses with the handball. Many tries to tackle. Seno again. Finding Pritchard. Loose is Salvador. Into the pocket is Marcon. Salvador looks for Marcon. Running towards goal. And puts it through. Well, their hearts might have been in their mouths, and scores a level.
Well, what a fabulous passage of play. That had everything.
Gee, that bit of work in the middle of the ground, Sam, that was great, wasn't it? The handballing.
Good skills in heavy traffic, Phil.
Oh, my word, that heavy traffic, you like it in there, don't you?
Oh, it's great.
And what a great kick, too, by Grant Salvador to Marcon on the run into goals. And he goes after it. And little Ada, he's been a great Preston player.
Three times, though, in the last 5 minutes, he's mishandled up there in the forward line. Should have marked that.
Bang.
Hunt there in support. And Seno, who has beefed up a bit in the last couple of years. Morgan lucky not to be penalised. On he goes. Still got pace. Marcon will have to fly because the arms are there of big Stuart Nicol.
Springvale's turn to have a player 5 or 6 metres clear. It's Mithen, well caught by Dunbar. Good play to Salvador. Intelligent play by Dunbar. And it could end up in a goal for Preston. It's Hallis about 45 metres out. I don't know, well, the flag is working in that pocket. He could even have a slight tail breeze. 45-degree angle. Shane Hallis booms one right through the middle.
Oh, what a superb goal.
And Preston, they've come alive in the last 6 or 7 minutes. They're in front by 5 points, and that started with Rod Dunbar. A clever kick off the ground. He got it to Salvador, and there was no stopping the Bullants from there on.
Fine pass, and you can see Shane Hallis has got the big thighs, and there he is on screen. He really powers that ball on, and that's probably a 55, 60-metre kick.
Coming up to the 30-minute mark of the first quarter, it's Preston leading. Salvador had a good quarter. Up towards Shaw at the back, and he's got it. Play on, says the umpire. Number 2, though, for him. A replay of about 10 minutes ago.
The other way as well. And the first one first.
That was a great kick by Grant Salvador there under a lot of pressure. We might see it. Here it is now. Look at the pressure he's under, and he's able to swing the ball right to the point of the square. And Jamie, as usual, with the one hand. Now, that must have been a mark.
Phil, you know who's doing well in a pressure cooker situation? Seno's getting that first kick out of a pack.
Exactly.
That 6-inch heated area. He's getting the boot the ball to break the congestion.
Now, Seno's a good kick of the football. Going to put it in the square, or perhaps a bit longer. Shaw in good position.
Oh.
Just the hands on the shoulder.
It's the perfect kick from Seno, wasn't it?
Beautiful. Certainly was. And the 2 hands on the shoulder, Sam, they're very important, aren't they? Give you that just a touch of advantage.
Yes.
It's not quite a push, it's just a touch, isn't it?
It's a rest, just a rest, yes.
It's all you need. A decisive
little buffer
advantage.
zone.
He's looking a bit like Big Bob Johnson these days, isn't he?
He's becoming as famous as him, too.
Graham Dempster on the mark. Shaw lines up for number 3 and puts Preston in front by 17 points.
Yes, they're doing it very well in the opening minutes of this second quarter.
You see it again on replay.
Yeah, a bit of both, but
anyway, play goes on, and Shaw, the man in front, has been paid the mark. Dempster is not pleased, but I think Shaw marginally had that front position, didn't he, Sam?
No question, Ross.
Thank you.
It's a clean mark. And Dino Seno once again off the pack.
Now, I think we can mark this one down for number 4. And his 83rd for the year. And Preston extend that lead. 24 points.
Geez, big plus, isn't it, Phil, when you've got a full forward of Shaw's calibre firing?
Yes, he did mark well. He's back probably close to his best form, and we should remember that a couple of years back he was a prolific goal scorer.
I think, like most Preston players, he's really got the passion for football again. You know, I think they went up the boil a little bit last year, but they've really got a feeling for the game. And
Shaw's led. Dunbar looks for him. Clark from behind.
Yes.
Into the back, the hand on the shoulder. Sam?
yes, totally agree with that. Ross, that big frame of Jamie's is really proving a handful for the Springvale defence. Dunbar's doing well across the centre.
And Jeff Clark would be a worry at full back. He's got into the back of Shaw a couple of times. Not disciplined enough so far. Shaw from the other angle this time. Seems to prefer it. Gets his 5th goal, does Jamie Shaw. And look at that lead now, 32 points.
And isn't he playing well? And he's the only one to have worried the scoreboard operator as far as majors are concerned for this quarter. That's his 3rd. And haven't they been super goals?
Yes, there was quite a definite push there. The small players of Preston are working so well in the clinches and feeding the ball off and really attempting to run it. You see the goal from Shaw, that's a fine long kick, and he is more than a handful at the present time.
Every time they get the opportunity, Preston, and sometimes when they don't. And Springvale chasing shadows at the moment. They haven't scored in this quarter as Markon gets clear. Preston looking for Shaw on all occasions. He's tapped it beautifully to Dunbar. Great play. Outnumbered, and presence of mind from Shaw. Saw Dunbar was in the better position. That's the first goal for Rod Dunbar.
That was great play by Shaw then. He was out-bustled by Clark and he got back into the action. Look at this tap. Just the fingertips, but what thoughtful football from Jamie Shaw, and he's been an absolute inspiration for the team so far.
On at half forward, he'll lift things up. Bit of fire into Atkins. And Springvale goal forward for one occasion. Robertson gets clear. He's in fine form. The ball just hasn't been getting up to him.
I think this is the first time for the quarter that it's ventured up near his area, Ross.
I think Neil Jordan would be disappointed there that he didn't actually fill that corridor in himself. I think he had his back to the kicker.
Now Keith Robinson has kicked 1. Kick 2, make that.
Gee, that's a fine goal.
3rd goal to Keith Robinson.
And a badly needed one too, Ross. One of the few times they ventured forward, probably the 2nd or 3rd time, and they couldn't have found a better man to do the job for them in Keith Robinson. Had a fine first quarter. Atkins, sorry, a fine pass, and as Phil mentioned, you saw the back of Captain Coach Jordan there. He should have perhaps filled that hole. You were right, Phil. But a fine goal nevertheless. Despite the fact that he admitted you've been his best ever
Fill
side.
everybody in who doesn't know what we're talking about.
Yes, I think you should go to the football and read the recorder tomorrow with Frank Vergana explaining as Markon takes a brilliant mark. Lead on from Shaw once more. Oh, that's a free kick. Advantage. No, there's no advantage.
What a mark. That is just a beautiful grab from the little man.
He's taken them before like that. Now, Jeff Clark has really
Got a headache?
Well, he's being a little silly on Jamie Shaw. Just indiscriminate penalties against him. Shaw's kicked 5 goals, 3 in this quarter. As he takes his time. He's missed a couple. Very slight angle. Breeze, little as it is, behind him. Lots of deliberation, and scores his 6th goal.
Well, he's playing with a lot of confidence, Big Jamie now. And as we've mentioned earlier, what a big plus he is to this side. And he's found some newfound enthusiasm. He's like a player playing in his first year of football.
Yes,
tackling, running.
Bit hard on Jeff Clark then I might have been. Morgan coming in from the side.
Well, Peter, it's been a fine contest between these two.
Sure, well out from goal. That's a mark! A free kick, you name it.
Well, if ever the picture tells a story there's one thing you just can't do with this man, that's playing from behind, for obvious reasons. And with the body, the strength, and the extended claws.
What do we pay, Sam? A mark or a free kick?
It's on in the goal square.
Oh, there's two little groups of rolling players there.
Now, we don't want any suspensions.
Shaw goes to the torpedo while they're not watching. And Malin rushes it through.
Oh, that's one man I wouldn't want to mix with in the clinches either. Shane Hallis gives him a lot of authority out in the ground, Shane.
I think it put Jamie off, really. It wasn't his best kick.
He chose the torpedo punt, and there has been a report. Rod Morgan, by the looks of it. Both been pinched, we're told.
Who's that, Salvador and Morgan, you think?
Well, I don't know if it was...
Hallis.
he was pointing to Salvador at the time.
We've played 31 minutes.
Sorry, Pete, an aspect of Preston's play which is really of grave concern for Springvale, and the plus for him is their great recovery. The players bounce back off the ground very quickly.
Against Jordan.
Oh, no.
Well, he looked like he gave him a shove.
I think Jordan knew he got the free kick. He was being held. It wasn't the push.
Yes, well, fair enough, Ross, but...
Perhaps watching it on television a bit off-putting there, because what we saw certainly looked like it was a shove, but we might have missed the holding incident. Well, I don't know. I think it was all Jordan instigated, don't you?
Yes.
Oh, I thought so.
Well, what a telling goal this might be. And the final outcome of this game, it's the captain-coach Neil Jordan from 25, 30 metres. Straight through the middle. It completes a fine quarter from Preston. They kicked 6 goals, 6 in that term, while Springvale added 1 goal, 2. And temperatures really boiling over there towards the end. We'll try and find out the situation as far as reports are concerned, but Preston huddle before they go back into the rooms. The goal kickers for them, Jamie Shaw, 6, 4 in that term. And the others all single goal kickers, while the multiple goal kicker for Springvale is Keith Robinson. He kicked 1 goal from really just about their only sortie up to within the range of goals in that term, the Vales. He's got 3 for the match. But it's 45 points the difference as Preston head into the rooms with half their work done. Must ask Ross about one of those reports, attempted striking against Shane Hallis. Doug Coop certainly looked in a bit of trouble after an attempted strike. As forward it goes from Jordan. Mark on, good rating.
Well, the picture tells it all there, Pete.
Yeah, they talk about those classic Rovers goals, and that might have been one then, Sam.
Yes, I totally concur with you, Peter. And Adrian Marcon, he's had a fine afternoon, and gee, that was just brilliantly read off the packs. Shaw contested well, and look at Marcon. Johnny on the spot, and a fine snap. He knew he had a severe angle to contend with, but did it very, very efficiently, and what a valuable goal.
Nickel. Seno was hanging off him. Simon Clark to Coop. Bounces it for Atkins. They want more from the likes of these players. Experienced in VFL ranks. And there's the mark from Shannon. Umpire saw what I didn't, and he threw it away.
Didn't Danny Hoyle after the ball quickly?
Wasn't he so polite in the manner in which he returned it? Sorry, this is yours.
Well, vital kick here. Is it being touched on the line by Burrows? It's not. Well, they really needed that one. Jeff's bringing up the goal that's answered that one from Marcon. Oh, sorry, Shannon it was, who came on from interchange. It's his first.
And he's done reasonably well, Shannon, since coming on. They haven't had many good players, Springvale, and a number of players in and out of the game, but Shannon, since coming on, has been a consistent possession gatherer.
I I didn't see that attempted striking, but that wasn't the one on Doug Cooper, I don't think. I thought it might have been another one. Malin. Oh, good shot from Malin. And Springvale come back. They need that one from the captain coach.
Yes, well, if anything's going to lift them, it'll be this one from their captain coach.
I notice Clark's looking a little bit more dangerous at centre-half forward too, Sam. Jeff Clark.
Yes, well,
Early in the game he struggled, but he's getting his hands on the ball now. And these are the sort of players who can come into the game.
I agree, Ross.
Dudley inboard. Nickel. Up and down the one spot. Robertson's a long way out from goal. Oh, good mark.
The man running down the ground is Jeff Clark. Oh. Burrows ran straight at him. Should be a goal to Shannon. Well, for a lot of work, they've finally got 6 points, Springvale. And Shannon, when he came on from interchange, gave them a bit of enthusiasm, and they steadied things a little bit in that second quarter.
But Robinson, what a fine overhead, and he good visions. Spotted.
Is this a free or not?
Oh, yes, that was a free to Clark. But Shannon, as you said, Peter, he's a live wire, effervescent. And a nice left foot snap.
And all spilt by the boy in blue up there on the bank. He's just talking with his mate about what they'll have to do next time. A bit more talking required from those policemen. Well, Preston reserve grade coach Bernie Geary will be watching intently at home. Not feeling the best, Bernie. Regards to you.
Seconds didn't win, but maybe the first will.
Exactly. Seno. Shaw. See what his recovery's like. He's already had a look to see who's in the goal square. He's taken a bounce. Big Davey, number 7.
Well, that was a good goal, but at the same time, I feel he could have handballed that ball to
He had a look,
Dunbar.
Phil.
He had a look.
No, it was a great goal, but still.
I agree with you. He could have probably handballed, but have a look at this. A man with confidence, isn't he, to attempt these things?
I don't know why he did bounce it, really.
You see, well, maybe he didn't pick him up, but
Nicola.
you can see, no.
Dunbar,
right in line. Dunbar lowers the head a little bit in disappointment.
Didn't cheer, did he?
But a goal's a goal, and it's, well, it was certainly a great goal.
Hard work by Springvale. Shannon, oh, a fresh air shot by Clark. Did that a couple of weeks ago. Oh, coming through like a train was Morgan. Lucky the player was missed. Jordan cleared a Lumachese again. Loose marking. Over the top. Good running. Prideaux. Shaw still there. Lumachese at goal. Nicolo in the square with Mendy. Still in play. Strength over the shoulder. Advantage paid. Goal to mark on. Third one to the Little Rover. And Preston have great persistence.
Well, they've created the loose man so well in the mid part of the ground. They've got the ball to the forward line quickly. We see Jamie Shaw feeds a handball out here. I think it's to Lumachese, and he kicks long, and you see it here. The Preston players have the advantage. Nicolo, free kick to Nicolo, but it's play on. And there's Mark on to finish it off, and that's been telling. They've got the ball up to that forward line and had the Springvale defenders under a lot of pressure.
Robinson.
Keep coming, keep coming.
With 60 metres out from goal. He's going to go long too. Oh, that's what he motioned. I don't know whether the pass was for Simon Clark. Atkins was there also, but directly in front and a metre or two closer to goal is the ruckman. 12th possession for Simon Clark. He'll take a good kick. Breeze virtually non-existent here at the Newcomen Oval. He's got under it just a little bit. Flyer was Robinson. He's given away the free kick.
Yeah, I thought that might have already been a goal. Was it touched?
Oh, no, it's against Burrows. Well, Jordan shakes his head.
I'd like to see that again too.
Well, I wonder whether umpire Carland actually asked the goal umpire whether it was a goal.
Shouldn't make any difference.
No.
I thought Clark was the offender.
It's Jeff Clark that's kicked the goal.
Yes,
They'll
well,
take all they can get any way they can get them.
exactly. And I've been quite impressed with Preston's resilience, the manner in which they've withstood Springvale's surge forward. They've thrown everything at Preston by the proverbial kitchen sink. and they've withstood that pressure quite well and rebounded on occasions to score 3 goals themselves.
It's interesting too, they've brought Jerome Percy on to replace Danny Hall in the ruck, give him a breather.
He's done very well,
Good
Danny Hall.
move, yes. That's obviously been the plan. Yes, it was touched. Plan to have the 2 big players.
He goes into the pocket to a player who wasn't expecting it, Phillips. Shannon. Oh, the siren's beaten the pass. And that tells the story of a quarter where Springvale tried hard to get back into it, but everything they threw at Preston was answered. And a 45-point half-time lead is a 42-point three-quarter time lead for the Bull Ants. Goal kickers, Shaw has 7, 3 to mark on. They're their multiples, while for Springvale, 2 from Keith Robinson. Brett Shannon from interchange has kicked 2 goals. All the others single goal kickers, and it would appear to be beyond Springvale, though if they are to be in the running to take out the premiership this season, they need to show something in this final term against a likely final opponent in Preston, who are going for their 10th straight game without defeat. And they're looking pretty good at three-quarter time, 42-point leaders. Is the Preston huddle.
To give us that bit extra. Because blokes like Rocket, who's been fantastic, a fantastic quarter there, of doing the positive things as well as helping out the back line, which is what we ask of from our midfielders. But we can't expect one bloke or a couple of blokes to do all the work. It's got to come from all of us, and I suspect that quarter, a couple of blokes just dropped off a bit. Just step back off the pedal instead of what we asked for when we come back out here, which was to really grind them. I asked you when we come back out here if anyone was tired, and you all told me you're not. After that quarter, I'm sure there's still plenty of legs in every bloke out on that field. So we must have that commitment from every player this quarter. As we said before the game, fellas, the motivation's there. The double chance, the fact that this mob are the only team that's beaten us at our home ground this season, and the fact that we've clawed our way up through some hard games this year to get to a position where we now can get that double chance. And to get that, as I said before the game, takes 4 quarters of manhood, a test of character of every one of you. And at the moment, we've passed that test, but there's still a quarter to go.
First-year coach Neil Jordan, and he's warming to his task, I think. And, well, he hasn't known too much disappointment over the last 10 weeks, but showing a fine example. A young coach to his, well, some of these players would be older than he, wouldn't they?
Well, I think there's about half a dozen players who played in the premiership back in 1984, so they're not. It's not as if they're really that inexperienced. It's a fairly similar team to the one they've had probably over the last, or probably had about 3 or 4 years ago. But yes, I've been impressed with Neil Jordan. I think he's done a great job at Preston. He's very thoughtful. No histrionics about his performance there at three-quarter time. Explained the rules to them and asked them to just find a little bit more.
Before the game, he was talking to Ross about, you know, we lose this one, we could miss out on the finals altogether. And now he's saying right from the start, we've been looking for the double chance. So perhaps the truth coming out a little bit. But you don't want to build your team up too much with false expectations. But they seem like they've put any thoughts of missing out on the finals behind them, and going for that very handy double chance, which in the final 5 system is, well, just about imperative. We've seen Preston fade out in the last term. Ross, they're going to do it today, do you think?
Don't know, Pete. Point the difference it was in round 7. Long towards goal from Shannon. And, well, maybe they will come back, Springvale. Shannon kicks his 3rd.
I just sorry, Sam, just sort of saw Preston sitting back there, and it looked to me as if they just had defence in their mind.
Yes, well, perhaps this may spark the revival Springvale have been eagerly awaiting. But you're right, Pete. I've always, you know, your heart's always in your mouth with Preston, because they've got the ability to play absolutely, you know, copybook football, but then they just lack concentration, and a side can rapidly kick 4 or 5 on them.
It's from Jeffs, and a fine pass to Morgan. Springvale, let's get the tails up a little bit here, but poor delivery. Phillips, let's see what his pace is like. Pretty good. You heard him cannon into the fence. It's gone loose to Jeff Clark. It's another one. His second. 29 points. That's not insurmountable by any means. We've played just 5 minutes into this term, and Phillips did well here, under pressure from Hunt.
Great centering kick. And Clark, of course, you'll see on screen, those big hands and kicks accurately.
Well, if he comes into the game, Clark, he's one of their tools and he can pluck some big marks. That would really worry the Preston half-back line.
Mark on. Being overshadowed by Jeffs. Jeffs goes to Morgan. Prideaux too much height. Owen. Oh, that was a throw. Clark lifted himself. Robinson. Cruel bounce. Pritchard the fist. Hunt's caught. Good tackle. Oh. Throw it's called.
Yes, he spotted that. The ball was thrown up with one hand and punched with the other.
Dudley takes a free.
I'm sure there's been an example of that particular indiscretion during the course of the day that wasn't held up.
Should kick this and does. Well, that's narrowed the margin. 24 points.
Well, Preston in the last quarter, we saw them lead Brunswick Broadmeadows by some 11 goals. They fell in by 9 points. They've led by about 7 goals here at three-quarter time, and can they hang on this time, Ross?
Goes in the Hallis direction. Nickel with the fist, always in good position to spoil. Malin. Lumachese put the pressure on. Good dive from Joe Lumachese. This could be that steadier. Niccolo will get it, but it's Lumachese's goal. Oh, Shaw kicks his 8th. Few hearts and mouths for the Bullant faithful. But Joe Lumachese, an inspiration up the ground. And that could just steady the ship a little bit. 9 minutes gone. Look at him throw himself in.
And he's straight to the open spaces where he knows that they've got the runners. Now, this occasion, Nicola unselfishly over the top to Shaw for his 8th. And that was just the steadier to extend that buffer zone a little.
James. Clark's tap. Robinson. Coop spreading it backwards to Dudley. They've lost about 20 metres, but they're in the corridor. And Mendy goes for home. An honest goal. It's 23 points the difference. We've played 12 minutes.
Well, they're certainly in with a chance, Phil, aren't they?
And didn't Martin give that his best shot too? He's not renowned as a great kick, but we'll see on the screen here, he knows the distance could be a worry. Goes hard, well, and doesn't he? Look at the leg, right through she goes, gives it his best shot. And I reckon he'd be pretty happy with that kick.
Rode him to the ground anyway. Hallis wins it. Malin gets a hand in. Seno spears one to Shaw. Over the top. Joe Lumachese as Hallis goes down. Salvador down once more. But the important thing is that Lumachese has gold and the margin 29 points. And Salvador holding his head.
What a handball by Jamie Shaw. In the big mid.
This guy in
yes,
too.
We'll see here though, Shaw, he's on the lead and great unselfish play. Just watch the hand and up she goes, and look at that for a hit. That's gone 30 metres and he hasn't even had to stop. And through great bit of play, Jamie Shaw. Great lead great kick, I should say, by Seno.
Yeah, they've just had the answer at the appropriate times, Preston, haven't they? Just as Springvale appear threatening, they bounce back with a vital goal.
Dudley spoiled there by Marcon. Good skills low to the ground from Adrian Marcon. It's Hallis spreading it out to Lumachese. That's it, I think. 2 from Lumachese in a minute. And we're halfway through the last term. The lead's back to 35 points.
And that is the sign of a great side, or a very good side, I should say. Marcon being a fine player. Over to Hallis, and have a look at the option he bears. Out to Lumachese out wide. He runs onto it. And kicks truly under a lot of pressure. Yes, and they're really displaying great character here, Preston.
Mark on. There he is again with that low centre of gravity, keeping his feet and clearing it 20 metres with the handball. Coops caught. Behind the pack, Salvador. Loose man is Nicolo. He'll go for home from here. That's all she wrote. 17 minutes gone. Chris Nicolo's second.
And it's good the way Preston have really continued attacking, because at one stage early in that quarter they appeared to be hell-bent on defence and trying to save the game, but they've really forced the issue and bounced back strongly with fine attacking play. And there, Nicolo, isn't he happy about scoring that goal?
The Vales have to get it moving forward quickly. All their hard work in this term is to naught. Preston have evened the ledger back up. The goal here, and they'd be back in front of their three-quarter time lead. Percy. Shaw trying to hold off three. He's got it! Oh, Jamie Shaw! His 9th goal! Well, how'd the ball come out to him there? It looked like Mendy had wrapped it up. Perhaps he just had to get it clear because he knew he'd be pinged for holding the ball if he didn't make some attempt here. And Jamie Shaw's just snavelled it.
I think he's fancies himself in that Mazda, Peter, during the week, Jamie.
It's got a sunroof, hasn't it? Because
I hope it's got a big boot.
It'd be great carting some of his mates around Reservoir.
Rose. Shepherded up by Pritchard. The Bull Ants playing Coverley. Twist and turn by Marcon. Falls to Seno. He'll spear a kick. Beautiful kick towards Jamie Shaw. Can he mark it? He can! Oh! When Dempster looked in position, Shaw plucked the hands up for his 10th mark.
I don't think I've ever seen him play better, really, and he's had some big games, but for an all-round performance of team play, marking and creating of goals, 22 possessions around about 15 scoring shots. That is a remarkable performance.
This is 15.
And that's a good close-up. That tattoo there, I don't know, I wouldn't say it's mum, but...
Looks like Hiawatha, doesn't it? This for number 10, and it is. 10 to Jamie Shaw, 89 goals for the year. And isn't he a happy man? Aren't the Bull Ants happy?
Well, coming into the finals, really, this is the ideal sort of running that they were hoping for, and especially getting players like Shaw.
Look at that mark.
Look at the fist of Dempster right there.
Fine aerial work. You have a look at their size. They've got 2 vocal forwards. They've got a strong defence. They've got brilliant on-ball players, plenty of pace.
Phil usually say if full forward kicks 10 goals, they'll win.
good strong mark there from Bill Mithen. He did sit out on the bench for quite some time. Robinson. Well, it could be a 50. Ball knocked out of Robinson's grasp. So this should be a certain goal for Keith Robinson. Two of the competition's top goal kickers in action today. The ball's been up the other end far too often for Robinson to match it with Shaw. Fourth goal for Keith Robinson. It's of academic interest now. We're into time on by 2.5 minutes. Springvale, I don't think they'd be as disappointed with this performance as they could have been, because they did come out firing there after three-quarter time when Ross thought they might have looked like they were about to chuck it in. They didn't do that, but Preston, they have improved as they've gone on winning, because they've answered the challenge and more. In waves, they are very hard to stop. Forward from Jordan. Mark on. Beautiful pass. Nicolo doesn't take it, but Salvador does. Gets the goal. The lead's up over 50. First goal for Grant Salvador.
You're right, Peter. They do continually keep running because they're fortunate they've got the players who've got the capacity to run and endure.
We'll just update AFL, and Hawthorn have blitzed Collingwood. Those wobbles appeared. I wouldn't say that just yet. Geelong, far too good for Richmond at the MCG. At Princes Park, Carlton beating Essendon by 20 points. So perhaps the Dons are going a bit shaky as well. Well, Might be a shot here for Simon Clark. He's the closest to it. The siren sounds. It's all over. Preston have won 9 straight games. They've gone 10 without defeat. And an ugly end to the game. But there's the final score. A convincing 53-point victory in the end for Preston over Springvale. They've made definitely sure of the finals berth and the double chance, one would think. And it has been a fine team performance from them. Hopefully we'll get a word with our man of the match. The champagne flowing there, or perhaps it was just a squeezed drink bottle, I think. Jamie Shaw kicked 10 goals today. Other multiple goal kickers, Marcon with 3, Nicolo 2, Lumachisi 2 in the last term. But those players getting goals when Springvale looked to be getting back into it. Let's go to Ross Booth.
Yes, we've got the man of the match here, Jamie Shaw. Dennis Roberts, you got the taggart.
On behalf of Wards Express, I have great pleasure in presenting you with the tankard for the man of the match from Wards Express. Well done, Jamie.
No worries, thanks very much.
Well, and Jamie, and the keys to the Mazda, unfortunately, don't drive, but who's going to drive it for you?
I'll figure someone out, mate. We'll be right.
The girlfriend, I believe. Terrific game, Jamie Shaw. Preston, big chance now.
Well, yeah, we've got to worry about next week, you know. If we win next week, yeah, we've got to get the double chance. If we can get the double chance, yeah, we'll be right in there for a fight. Don't worry about that.
Well done, Jamie Shaw, our man of the match.
Thanks very much.
And next week it is Williamstown to complete 18 rounds of VFA football. And what a finish to the regular season that's going to be. Live from Kramer Street. Join us at 2 o'clock next Saturday afternoon for that one. But just final word quick, gents. Preston looking the goods. Springvale, that's 2 losses in a row for them.
Well, I'm very impressed with Preston. I think they're an impressive side that can go all the way. Springvale, well, I'm not so sure, Phil.